Do you know what warms my heart more than anything? When I get attacked and threatened after calling a movie a piece of shit, only for just a short time later for everybody to come to the realization that the movie in question was in fact a piece of shit. The reality is, Scream 6 was always bad, and it's aging even worse. And I do think that deep down, despite the box office success, Spyglass understood that radio silence was killing this franchise one sequel at a time. Which is exactly why they are bringing people like Kevin Williamson and Neve Campbell back into the fold. Let's discuss.
I watch so you don't have to.
All I'm offering is the truth, nothing more.
I think the thing people have to understand is that it was just a movie. It's just a movie that caught fire and it's just been popular because they keep making sequels.
Ladies and gentlemen, people are finally waking up and seeing what I have seen since the beginning. You can go all the way back to my Scream 6 trailer reaction, and you will see that I saw through the gimmicks and bullshit very early on. And when I finally saw the movie, it was very much exactly what I predicted it to be.
Man, I'm tired of being right.
Scream in name only, a bad parody that has absolutely no business being in the conversation when talking about this franchise. There is great news that came out of all of this, however. To all the simps out there who want their favorite actress to show up in the new Scary Movie reboot, just to stick it to Spyglass and the Scream franchise? Well, she was actually already in a Scream parody, and that movie was called Scream 6. The biggest reasons why I feel like Scream lost its way under radio silence was that they simply did not understand the franchise in the first place. Scream does not attack its fan base and call them toxic. Scream does not cater to the fans who disrespect the actresses and movies that came before. Scream does not need gimmicks, at least it didn't under Wes Craven. Ghostface with a shotgun, Ghostface in New York. I swear this is going to be the most different Ghostface you've ever seen. We were half a step away from Ghostface in the Hood under the radio silence team.
This is good shit.
And do you know what? I'm not the only one who thinks so. I'm not the only one who sees that Scream 6 was all hype and no substance. Because now Matthew Lillard himself, Stu Macher, has given his opinion of Scream 6. And it's pretty much exactly what you would expect from someone who actually gives a about this franchise, and someone who understands what it takes to make Scream work. Matthew Lillard was on the Christian Harloff podcast recently, and he had this to say about Scream 6. The last one, to me, is too violent. I don't really understand Ghostface running around with a shotgun, personally. It's not for me, it's not clever. I think one of the great things that Kevin did, and I'm excited to see what he does for the future, is that, I think the movie's smart. I think the movie always has to be really smart and funny. I do think that there's great moments to find levity in horrific circumstances and not play the joke.
I'm feeling woozy here.
Ladies and gentlemen, what you just heard was a truth bomb from someone who actually knows about this franchise. And I can hear it in the comments already, but Scream has always been violent. And you're right, it has, but he is referring to the way that the violence in this film was delivered. Scream 4 was infinitely more violent than Scream 6, and it's infinitely better as well. It works because Scream 4's violence, while over the top in some instances, still feels appropriate for what we know about Scream and Ghostface as a character. I mean, Matthew Lillard is specifically mentioning the shotgun for a reason. Because as I said all the way back in my trailer reaction, the shotgun feels very gimmicky and un-Ghostface-like. It comes off as doing something just for the sake of being different, rather than doing something that makes sense.
Not impressed.
And he's right, it's things like that that make Scream 6 feel dumbed down and less intelligent. All the attention to detail that was there under Wes Craven and Kevin Williamson is almost non-existent by the time we get to Scream 6. Wes Craven was so meticulous that he had Billy and Stu hold the knives in very specific ways, as a way of differentiating who was under the mask in each given scene. The whole reason that Scream became a phenomenon was that it took the concept of a slasher and deconstructed it in the most intelligent way possible, and in the process made something that felt fresh. The sequels deconstructed the concept of sequels, trilogies, and reboots. What exactly did Scream 6 accomplish? What intelligent commentary was present in that film? This time, Ghostface is different, so please, for the love of God, come watch our movie.
I don't care!
And some people have the nerve to say that this was better than the original. Please stop. Scream was also great for its dark comedy. The only thing funny about Scream 6 is how laughable the final product ended up being. Scream 6 was released upon the world and unintentional hilarity ensued. Scream was great at finding levity in these life or death situations. And who would know that better than Matthew Lillard? There's a reason that some fans want Stu back after all of these years. Because he is easily one of the most memorable and unhinged Ghostfaces we've ever had. And Matthew Lillard's charisma and comedic timing is kind of what made that character work. Now, I know that Matthew Lillard isn't saying all of this to be mean-spirited. He's simply giving his opinion, and just like me, it simply was not for him. Even so, what do you think the response to this was from those toxic Scream fans? Actually, I wouldn't even call them Scream fans at this point because they clearly do not give a shit about this franchise, and they never have. What they did, of course, after hearing someone's opinion, was go on the defensive. Matthew Lillard is just bitter. Matthew Lillard is a hater. Matthew Lillard is a boomer. Soon they'll be telling everyone that his career was a flop and that nobody cares about him. The same tired-ass, sensitive bull from these people masquerading as Scream fans. I know one thing, Matthew Lillard is more relevant than your nameless, faceless Twitter account. At least people actually care what he has to say and are actually calling for him to return to the franchise. Can we say the same thing about some of these Twitter accounts or their favorite actress? Not really. Bottom line in all of this is don't ever tell a real Scream fan or someone who is actually involved with Scream that their opinion doesn't matter. Especially when some of you are nothing more than house guests in this fandom.
It's true.
Matthew Lillard, like Neve Campbell, Wes Craven, and Kevin Williamson, deserves your respect. Because there would not be a Scream franchise without these people. If you spend every waking moment of your life trying to slander these people over their decisions and opinions, then you were never a real Scream fan to begin with. Maybe you should go join the rest of your fandom and actually support the things that you say you support. And then maybe movies like Abigail wouldn't flop. Scream 7, February 27th, 2026, we will be seated.
Y'all be cool. Shut up.